Let me introduce myself. My name is Tria AINI, Management Class 22A, NPM 22,411,037. In this video I will explain about tax collection, objections and appeals, expiration of collection. Steps in filing an objection, time period for filing an objection. The first slide is definition. Tax collection is an effort made by the Directorate General of Taxes, DGT, to collect taxes that have not been or are underpaid by taxpayers. Tax objection is the right of taxpayers to file objections to tax assessment letters issued by the DGT, such as Underpayment Tax Assessment Letter, SKPKB, or Tax Collection Letter, STP. Tax appeal is a further process if the objection filed by the taxpayer is rejected by the DGT. The appeal is submitted to the tax court after the taxpayer receives a decision on the objection. Tax collection expiration is the time limit within which the DGT is still authorized to collect from the taxpayer. Once this time limit is exceeded, the DGT can no longer collect the tax owed. The next slide is stages of tax collection. Letter of reprimand. DGT issues a letter of reprimand if the taxpayer has not paid the tax due after the due date. Forced letter. If after the letter of reprimand, the tax remains unpaid, the DGT will issue a forced letter. This letter gives a stern warning to the taxpayer to immediately pay the tax. Confiscation. If the forced letter is ignored, the DGT can confiscate the taxpayer's assets as collateral for tax repayment. Auction. The seized assets can then be auctioned off to cover the outstanding tax liabilities. Steps for filing an objection. Filling out an objection letter. Taxpayers must submit a written objection with clear and complete reasons. Attach supporting documents. Include evidence that supports the objection. Delivered to the tax office. The objection letter must be submitted to the tax office that issued the tax assessment letter in question. Receipt. Obtain a receipt from the tax office as proof of objection submission. The next slide is appeal steps. File an appeal request. An appeal request is submitted in writing to the tax court within 3 months after the objection decision is received. Attach supporting documents. The taxpayer must attach documents that strengthen the reasons for the appeal. Hearing process. The tax court will conduct a hearing and hear arguments from the taxpayer and the DGT. Court decision. The tax court will issue a binding ruling after the trial. Some conditions that can suspend or stop the expiration, such as the taxpayer gets a warning letter. The taxpayer files an objection or appeal. Investigation action is carried out on criminal offenses in the field of taxation. The last slide is conclusion. In conclusion, tax collection, objections, and appeals are important elements in the tax system that provides a balance between the obligations and rights of taxpayers. Tax collection is carried out if the taxpayer does not fulfill his obligations, and can end if the tax has been paid or the collection deadline has passed. Taxpayers who disagree with the tax assessment can file an objection within 3 months after receiving the assessment, with steps that include a written submission along with supporting evidence. If the objection is rejected, the taxpayer can proceed by filing an appeal with the tax court. This objection and appeal mechanism provides an opportunity for taxpayers to fight for their rights fairly. as long as they follow the specified procedures and timeframes.